Gratitude and abundance, infinite vibes here to help raise your awareness. Let's take a collective deep breath. Inhale through your nose. Exhale through your mouth. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I hope that you're having an abundant, prosperous, and wonderful morning, afternoon, evening, midnight. Whenever you tune into this video, I hope you're having a wonderful time. All right, so in today's video, I'm going to be talking about consciousness, understanding consciousness. All right, now we have to really understand that consciousness just is, okay? And a lot of people like to label consciousness. They'll take it, some people call it source, some people call it God, right? So you have to understand that everything that you're experiencing in this realm is a conscious experience, okay? So consciously, we are experiencing all of this stuff. There's also the subconscious, and then there's the superconscious. At the end of the day, it's all a conscious mind, okay? Now, you might be asking yourself, okay, if everything is conscious, then why are we experiencing these things individually? That's because consciousness is able to break itself up into various egos or personas, right? So these egos or personas can be transformed, okay? And sometimes they have a forceful transformation, and this is what you would call an ego death, right? When you're basically done experiencing life in this type of way and you need to renew your ego, right? You need to reform that persona, that new ego needs to come into being. And so in order for that to happen, the old persona, the old ego must die. So that's why you have ego deaths appearing, right? So consciousness is wanting to experience things, and you get to a point where you're evolving, right, past old selves, past old traumas, past old stories, past old realities. And it's time for that being to no longer be in existence, so the new version of yourself or the new version of that being can come into existence, so consciousness can continue to experience these things, okay? So what the individual ego does is, it just is, okay? Now, I'm going to get into something that's a bit, delicate in terms of conversation, right? Because in the world today, a lot of people tend to see things very much in polarities. And what I mean by that is dualism, good and evil, dark or light, and so forth and so on. So these things exist when you move out of the one, right? So when you're experiencing life as consciousness, you're experiencing life as the whole, as the one, right? So this is when you can live in your authentic design and allow things to be magnetically pulled into your auric field, or for you to coexist and experience with consciousness itself, knowing that it is all just one, right? But then when we go into the duality of it, the dualism of it, which is what majority of the people do, right? I myself included, right? Because I'm having this experience. Consciousness is having this experience through me, right? It wants to experience duality, right? So we have good and evil, right? Light and darkness, and all the various polarities. Now, just because you believe that something is bad does not mean consciousness think that it is evil. Okay, I'm going to say that one more time. Just because you believe in your perspective that something is bad or evil does not mean that consciousness deems that as evil. Again, consciousness just is. It is experiencing itself. The universe is a never-ending vacuum, constantly expanding, just like you and just like myself, okay? There's times in your life when you may have done something, you may have made a mistake. You probably thought that that was foolish, that may have been dark. We all have these dark things that we've done, right? And so, you might look back on that with, regret, disdain, right? You might be looking at that and then thinking about it might actually take you into a lower density, removing you away from the higher density, right? So we have to remember that all of it is an experience, okay? The good, the bad, the ugly, right? Like there's things that are happening in the collective right now, right? In the collective circuitry that I don't necessarily deem as good. I don't think family starving, is a good thing. I don't think war is a good thing, right? But these things are happening because consciousness is experiencing that for itself, right? We need to look at things from a higher perspective because we tend to judge with our logical minds, right? We tend to judge things from the individual circuitry, the individual perspective, where it's like, I wouldn't do that. I think that's not a good thing, and so I'm staying away from that, right? Now, mind you, I'm saying all this stuff, right? And I'm not saying that I condone any of these, evils out there, right? I'm sure that, like, there's just certain things that I don't necessarily, align with, right? But again, because I don't align with it, it doesn't mean that it's not happening. It doesn't mean that consciousness is not experiencing it. Okay, and that's why I say that this is a very sensitive topic, because there's a lot of things that are happening in society today, right, that is very much taboo, but it's also extremely sped up right now. Again, we have to thank technology for that. Our silicone-based friends, okay? So, and I'm going to talk about this some more in videos going forward. But, things are speeding up right now. Information is being illuminated, right? A lot of people are aware of the Illuminati, the illumination, right? The sun that is heating up. We have these solar flares. The awareness is increasing, right? A lot of things that were in the shadows are coming to the light, okay? So a lot of these things is causing awareness to increase, and it's causing things to speed up. And because of this, right, we're seeing so much an influx of everything just being pushed to the surface. All right, and this is for us to deal with. This is the shadow work that we need to deal with. Some of us may need to feel more, right? Some of us may need to think more. Some of us may need to use our intuition more. Some of us may need to be grounded more. Okay, so again, consciousness is expanding. Okay, there is no right or wrong. Okay, you might discover something today and think that it's actual fact. You have all the capable justifications and the means and the causes to say, hey, this is it, this is the absolute, this is the science behind all of it. And then years down the line, when there's more illumination on that subject matter, you might look at that and think, wow, that was way off course, that was way off track, that was very limiting, right? Because consciousness is not limiting, okay? So a lot of times we may have a limited perception of what we do know, but then when we add more information to that, then we learn more, and this helps us increase the awareness. And then this helps more realities to coexist with ours. Okay? So, again, when I'm saying that there's no good or evil, I do think, from an individual circuitry, an individual perspective, I do believe that there's certain things out there that I personally would not condone. Again, but that does not mean that they're not happening. Okay? And they're happening for a reason, because that experience needs to happen. Okay? So, look at your life as a big experiment, okay? It's a major experiment. You get to play with it however you want to play with it. When you put a limiting belief on it, you are no longer playing with consciousness. All right, you're limiting yourself. And you're not allowing yourself to experience the vast capabilities that you hold within yourself. And that is why consciousness needs to experience itself through you. That's why you may have an ego death. That's why you may break down. Okay, so that way you can build yourself back up into a different being. And sometimes these things can be very painful. And they need to be, because that experience needs to happen. But look at what happens on the other side of that experience. When you get over the shadow phase of it, and then you step back into the higher frequency, the higher densities of these things, right? It's a major transformation. It's a major mutation, right? It can be synthesis. It can be maturation. There's so many various ways that we evolve, okay? So I'm gonna go ahead and leave this video here, just food for thought. But I do want to share a quote with you that I wrote down, right? And it's this: vibrate on the cosmos, and the cosmos will clear your path. When fear and insecurity leave you, truth and spirit will be with you. Okay? So I'm gonna leave y'all with that. I hope you guys found this very informative. If you like this content, leave a thumbs up, click subscribe, and if you're interested, check out some of the services I have to offer. I look forward to connecting with you all soon. Have an abundant day. Infinite vibes. Peace.